Tonight on the News Hour, organized labor pickets Electricity Regulatory Commission distribution offices over electricity tariff hike. Nigerian police apprehends notorious one-chance syndicate, other suspected criminals in Abuja. INEC issues deadline for submission of names of candidates and running mates in Ondo governorship election. On the foreign scene, Chad runner-up Success Masra files bid to annul presidential poll results. Hey, thanks for joining us on the News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start in Abuja, where the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria on Monday stormed the headquarters of the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission in Abuja, protesting the recent increase in electricity tariff. Now, the action followed a May 10 memo from the unions directing their state branches to carry out the exercise after the federal government failed to revert the hike in electricity tariff as demanded by the organized labor. Noel Sampson has more.
The NLC chairman, Joe Ajaero, who led the protest, told newsmen that the rising cost of living due to the removal of fuel subsidy necessitated the action. According to Ajaero, life is already hard for Nigerians, whom he noted do not need any additional hardship in the guise of electricity tariff increase.
Nigeria cannot develop with 4,000 megawatts.
No way.
You cannot develop industrially with 4,000 megawatts. Some countries of the world, America and China and others, are talking of over 1 million megawatts of electricity. And we can't be talking of 4,000 megawatts. So NEC should seek the right thing to be done, not tariff. In a country where the inflation is biting hard, even the foreign currency is getting down, NEC can't pretend to know that things are difficult.
You cannot grow Nigerian economy with taxation. You cannot grow Nigerian economy with taxation. Even today, the governors are sitting in the comfort zone of their own without thinking how to generate internal revenue. But they'll come to federal capital territory and pack the money. To pay wages becomes a problem.
The chairman, Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, Sanusi Garba, who addressed the protesters, called for understanding, saying the increase in tariff was necessitated by the rise in the operational costs. He, however, assured the protesting workers that the commission would return to the drawing board to see what can be done to mitigate any adverse impact on Nigerians.
We have taken input from what you have said relating to affordability of the tariffs that have been issued by the commission. We have listened to you, we have listened to the concern of Nigerians, and will make adequate case and representation to the policy side on the issue of affordability of tariffs.
Nigerians are praying for a positive outcome after the picketing exercise. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In a related development, members of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress on Monday picketed the headquarters of the Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company over the recent hike in electricity tariff. The action, according to the protesting union members, has become imperative as the incessant increase in electricity tariff has left many Nigerians, particularly workers, feeling frustrated. From Kaduna, Trust TV's Bello Musa tells us more.
Members of the organized labor picketed the headquarters of the Kaduna Electric Distribution Company and that of Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, chanting solidarity songs. According to the unions, Nigerians are paying for darkness.
So what we're saying is a simple message: let them reverse the hike, and we don't need any segregation. And we are even saying it is high time for the government to take over or retake over this institution so that we can be enjoying the light as it used to be before.
Our demands are for them to revert back, and then we now sit on our table and then agree on what price we are to take. But for now, we are saying no to the hike in the electricity.
People are suffering. You know, NEPA is just a lie. We can't survive without a lie. But the charges is too high to the Nigerian people.
Beyond the unions, Nigerians on the street of Kaduna are also groaning over the hike in the electricity price as well as the shortage of power supply despite increased tariffs.
If you don't have a source of income, that you at the end of the day you have a lot of electric appliances in your house, honestly, you cannot be able to meet up.
The most important thing is addressing the issue of insecurity, because insecurity is one of our major problems in this country.
This move by the NLC and TUC is a clear indication of the frustration and anger among Nigerians over the frequent increase in electricity tariff. They are now waiting for the government to respond to their demands, which among other things include a reversal of the tariff hike. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Staying with this development, the Nigeria Labour Congress and the TUC staged a protest picketing the offices of the National Electricity Regulatory Commission alongside the ECO and Ikeja distribution companies in Lagos. Now, the demonstrations aim to voice opposition against the recent increase in electricity tariff for Band A users, a decision impacting most Nigerians with its widespread repercussions. Here's the report.
In Lagos, thousands took to the streets demanding immediate action from the government, whose decision to hike the tariff is seen as unjust, following the huge burden it places on average Nigerians. According to the protesters, Nigerians cannot afford this tariff as it is pushing more people into poverty, with critics arguing that it disproportionately affects low-income households.
The two labor centers, we are together in our demand. And our demand is that the federal government of Nigeria, the senators who are not also giving out any law regulating government position and policies, they are just sitting down in the chamber. They are using billions of taxpayers' money to renovate their offices. And yet, Nigerians continue to wallow in abject poverty. The senators, the rep members, they should sit down immediately without wasting more time again to tell the federal government that enough is enough. It's either they give us light to commensurate the services to commensurate with what we pay for, or to remove this their wire. Let them switch off their lights for now until we are able to address the situation. Let them switch off their light. We no longer need the Nigeria darkness, what they call light.
We are not here for the interest of the union. We are here for the interest of Nigerians. And that is what we are doing here, to let you know that the increase of the tariff is killing us. As you are increasing the tariff, is the salary of the workers being increased? So even the light is not available for individual Nigerian to work. So those are the issues. So if the light is there, then we can work and make money. But what they are regulating is darkness, giving us darkness, and at the same time increasing the tariff to collect double, money from us. So that is what we are saying. If they fail to reverse, so definitely the struggle continue. We'll let them know that we need to chop down the system because it's not working and it's not friendly to ordinary Nigerians.
Asking for a total reversal, because with all the bans and all the segregations they are putting in place, again, it's coming with darkness. We are paying more for darkness. So we are asking for total reversal because this is not sustainable. Industries are crying. I'm from the textile industry. Our industry is crying that how would they pay for such humongous amount of bill, and yet you still expect them to still run their generators and to pay for this kind of bill. It's killing both to industry, both to individual, both to homes. So we are asking for a complete reversal. The Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress are asking for total reversal.
The political class should accept responsibility and do what is right by ensuring that they fix this country for the general interest of all Nigerian people. And as organized labor, specifically TUC and by extension the organized labor in Nigeria, we are saying no to hike electricity tariff. We are saying no to all bad government policies, and we are saying enough is enough.
Although tariff adjustments are necessary for ensuring the sustainability of the electricity sector and attracting investment, protesters are urging the government to express empathy as Nigerians are already facing a tough economy with soaring prices occasioned by removal of subsidy on petrol and the constant fall of the naira against the dollar.
Away from the picketing exercise on Sunday evening, a tragic incident unfolded in Darmanawa quarters in Taroni local government area of Kano State as 3 individuals lost their lives during a clash between rival gangs. The turmoil erupted when Muhammad Bardi, a resident, organized a cultural event to celebrate his children's wedding, which later became a battleground for supremacy among local thugs in the area. The situation escalated despite police intervention after receiving a distress call, leading to a fatal confrontation between the armed hoodlums and law enforcement. Sadly, Sadiq Abubakar at age 23 of Darmanawa quarters, Muhammad Sani of Salari quarters, and the teenager Sadiq Abdullahi age 18 of Karakasara quarters lost their lives, with the latter succumbing to bullet wounds during the police attempt to disperse the thugs. In response to the tragedy, the Kano State Police Commissioner Hussaini Gumel ordered the immediate arrest of the event organizer as well as 2 other persons, highlighting the gravity of the situation and the need for swift action to restore peace and ensure justice for the victims. And in Taraba State, reports have emerged of a disturbing trend where thieves have raided numerous rice farms, making off with hundreds of bags of paddy rice. The incident occurred at the Shimo irrigation fields in Lao local government area of the state, with farmers recounting harrowing experiences of armed thieves descending upon their farms in large numbers. Abubakar Adamu, one of the affected farmers, recounted how his farm guard witnessed the invaders armed with dangerous weapons, prompting old guards to flee for their safety. The thieves, arriving both on foot and motorcycles, executed their raid between the early hours of 12:30 a.m. and 5:30 a.m., leaving behind a trail of stolen rice. Abubakar, who had anticipated a harvest of over 25 bags of paddy rice, was left devastated with only 8 bags salvaged. His plight mirrors that of fellow farmers in the area who have suffered similar losses, underscoring the urgent need for enhanced security measures to safeguard agricultural assets and livelihoods across the region. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Taraba State, achieved a significant milestone in crime prevention by apprehending 3 adult males for armed robbery in Jalingo, the Taraba State capital. Acting on a tip-off received on Sunday at the School of Nursing and Midwifery, Yagay in Jalingo, the suspects were swiftly captured by personnel of the Nigerian police. Now, during the parade of the suspect, the state commandant, Adamu says the residents of Yagay who gave the police prompt information helped facilitate the arrest of the suspect, while urging the community to follow Yagay's lead in providing timely information to security agents for swift action. The suspects have been identified and are currently undergoing investigation. Now, the gang, comprising 4 men, had been using weapons to intimidate residents into surrendering their belongings. Confessions obtained from the suspect have confirmed their involvement in breaking into 2 different homes and stealing valuable items. Still talking security, the FCT Police Command has paraded some suspects linked with various crimes in Nigeria's capital. Among those paraded are a one-chance syndicate with a female member, suspected car thieves as well as burglars. Trust TV's Safiat Oyazoya Ineda has more on this development.
The FCT Commissioner of Police, Bennett Igwe, while parading the suspects, highlighted how the suspects were arrested at different places and at different times within the territory.
I want to still warn the robbers and those who are thinking that you cannot be arrested. We are trying to determine. I want to tell you, FCT is not safe for you. As you have refused to hear, we have equally refused to rest. So as you move, we'll continue following you up.
The CP assured that the murderers of the FIRS officials on Sunday, May 12, as well as those responsible for the kidnapping incident at Paiko in the Buhari axis of the FCT would be fished out and made to face the full weight of the law.
Check around, move around, you will see how peaceful it is. The area you are talking now, the village you are talking, is the areas that don't have network. You can't believe that in Abuja, there's areas in the FCT that there's no network. Like the Paiko you talked, no network. Just like Emate, no network. After Kabimangoro, no network. So, but we are not NCC to provide such communities with a network.
Some of the suspects confessed to their involvement in the crimes they were arrested for.
Why you don't do my work. Sorry, you don't follow the one chance motto before. I know they do. But you don't follow a one. Na once. I don't know say na one chance. I can't live there since last year. But you follow that. Once I don't understand their work. Now I can't live there.
The victims of the robbery incident who was present at the command narrated his ordeal too.
After I closed from work around 12 a.m., it wasn't long before they suddenly came in numbers with weapons, stumbled me and took away my bike. However, I was able to recognize Shehu, who is my neighbor, and I was afraid to call his name at the scene because if I did, they may have killed me. I was hospitalized. That is why I had to wait till the following day before reporting the incident, which led to his arrest.
And commended FCT residents for sharing useful information with the police, noting that such gesture has been helpful in the discharge of their duties. Safiat Ovaiza Enida, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, elsewhere on Sunday, tension gripped Osogbo, the state capital of Osun State, as rival cult groups clashed, causing panic among residents. However, the timely intervention of the anti-cultism squad of the Osun State Police Command swiftly restored normalcy to the area. Hamid Oyegbade tells us more.
Armed with dangerous weapons, including guns, cutlasses, broken bottles, stones, the rival cult groups clashed at Baemu Junction in Osogbo on Sunday. This caused panic among residents of Isalearo, Station Road, Okeworu, Okeekpoko, and Ojoba areas of Osogbo, capital of Osun State. The cultists were fighting over the money they collected from someone who bought a property around Baemu Junction. Men of the anti-cultism squad of Osun State Police Command responded promptly to distress call by residents and restored peace in the area.
I think it is high time government declared a state of emergency on activities of thugs who move about with very, sophisticated arms and ammunitions. Like today, I was coming from the church and I saw police stationed everywhere around Baemu and Station Road. It was when I inquired, they told me that some hoodlums just wreaked havoc here, that they even clashed while trying to extort one of the land developers. I think it's high time security measure up to this menace.
It was during the process of sharing the money. The group that collected the money did not want to release to the second group. That is what led to chaos, and they went away. By the time they came, they all came back to come and probably fight. They went to go and bring gun, cutlass, but we thank God for quick intervention of the police. If not for the quick action of the police, would have, the community would have been turned into chaos.
The whole of Olaiya, Fagbuesa, all of those Isalearo are not safe anymore. When young guys move around, their phone, they confiscate their phone if they can't give them money, or sometimes even go to shops and tax them for money they are not actually working for. And if you don't give them, you are in trouble. So government needs to up its game, particularly with the issue of these thugs, cultists, and what have you. You name them, they are all there around. Government know where they are. Police operatives know where they are. They should do their job and make the city safe for the people.
The residents charged the state government to find solution to the problem of incessant clashes and attack by cultists and hoodlums in Osogbo and other parts of the state. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Right, to Enugu State now, where gunmen have reportedly carried out deadly attacks in Nsukka and Udeni local government area of the state, resulting in the tragic deaths of 3 police officers and 1 operative of the Federal Road Safety Corps. Eyewitnesses recounted how the assailants targeted a police division in Umabo Eha, Alumona, Nsukka on Saturday night, claiming the lives of 2 policemen. In a separate attack, gunmen also killed an FRSC personnel and a police officer assigned to the traditional ruler of Igali Amala community of Oba Udeni local government area. Fortunately, the monarch escaped unharmed, but the assailants touched an FRSC van during the violence. As at the time of the reporting, the police is yet to issue an official statement regarding the attacks and the killings. These tragic incidents occurred less than 24 hours after the murder of 2 police officers within the state metropolis, prompting the state governor to offer a 10 million naira bounty for the apprehension of the cultists, of the culprits. Right. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has issued a stern warning, stating that there will be no extension of the submission deadline for the list of candidates if political parties in the Ondo state governorship election fail to comply ahead of the polls. Now, this announcement was made by the chairman of the commission during his 2nd quarterly consultative meeting with political parties in 2024. Noel Sampson has details of the meeting.
The meeting by the Independent National Electoral Commission was convened to prepare political party leaders for the upcoming Ondo and Edo governorship elections that are scheduled to commence in the next 4 and 6 months. The chairman of the commission, Mahmoud Yakubu, told political party leaders that it has already made public the final list of candidates for the election in Edo State and urged political parties in Ondo to submit the names of their candidates before the deadline.
I wish to remind you that parties have 1 week to the deadline for the nomination of candidates, which the deadline is 6 p.m. on Monday, 20th May 2024, when the portal will automatically shut down. I urge you to adhere strictly to the deadline. Political parties have been given 23 days, over 3 weeks, from the end of primaries to prepare and submit the list of only 2 candidates, governorship candidate and running mate, to the commission. There will be no extension of time.
While urging party leaders to continue to maintain law and order as they set to commence campaign, the INEC chairman announced that it is resuming continuous voter registration in both states to enable eligible citizens to participate at the polls. He also appealed to political parties and other stakeholders to help mobilize prospective registrants for the exercise, while also making them see the need for early registration.
As the elections in the 2 states approach, the Commission has decided to resume the continuous voter registration in the 2 states to enable eligible citizens who are not registered as voters to do so. Similarly, those who are registered voters also have the opportunity to transfer their registration from other states of the Federation to Edo and Ondo states, or from one location to another within the 2 states.
Before the meeting broke into an executive section, the chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council of Nigeria, Yusuf Dantale, charged politicians to desist from utterances that are capable of heating up the polity and urged parties to review the huge cost fixed for their party tickets.
We condemn in strong terms politics of bitterness, do or die politics, and divisive politics that have tendencies of undermining our emerging democracy. It is unacceptable. Politicians must abide by democratic ideals, ethics, and ethos, and desist from inflammatory utterances and actions that could impede our constitutional government.
While the successful outcome of any election rests on all stakeholders playing their part, it is the hope of many Nigerians that INEC as the electoral umpire will use the Edo and Odo elections to regain the confidence of citizens from the controversies of previous polls. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
To some of the day's other news now, President Bola Tinubu presided over the Federal Executive Council meeting at the council chambers of the Presidential Villa in Abuja on Monday. Now, the meeting commenced at around 12:50 p.m. and was attended by all cabinet members. Now, the meeting began with the swearing-in of 2 federal commissioners of the National Population Commission that include Fashua Johnson from Ogun State and Amidu Rahim from Osun State. Now, the witnesses included the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Bajabiamila, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, Cabinet Ministers, and other government officials. Now, this development follows a 2-day NPC management retreat held in Uyo in Akwa Ibom State last week. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Public opinion divided over capital punishment for drug trafficking offenses in Nigeria. Details of this and many more up ahead after the break. Welcome back to the news. Let's take another look at our top stories. Organized labor pickets NERC headquarters over electricity tariff hike. FCT police apprehends notorious one-chance syndicate, other suspected criminals in Abuja. Now, as the committee established by the Kaduna State House of Assembly to probe the 8-year tenure of former Governor Nasir El-Rufai prepares to submit its report, residents and stakeholders in the state remain divided over this development. Many are hopeful that the state legislature can maintain its momentum and uncover the truth surrounding the former governor's tenure. Trust TV's Bello Musa tells us more.
Kaduna State House of Assembly ad hoc committee set up to investigate financial transactions, including loans and contracts undertaken by the Kaduna State government under Governor Nasir El-Rufai, has begun investigation. The governor had revealed that after deductions for loan servicing, the state is left with amounts not enough to pay salary. The governor set up the committee to investigate huge debt inherited from his predecessor. The chairman of the committee said those summoned include former commissioners and administrators. Some major stakeholders say the probe of the past administration did not come to them as a surprise.
Because a lot of people are saying it's too early for this kind of disagreement to become public. But for so many of us who have been watching closely over the way and manner Governor Nasir El-Rufai conducted the affairs of his administration, we know it left a lot to be desired. And then we also argue then that anybody that took over from Nasir El-Rufai with the debt profile and a lot of things that were done is going to face peculiar tax.
For the assembly to say that they have really set a committee, they are never experts, because in investigating some of these things that happen in states like this, you need experts to look at it. You need people that will be able to probe all the commissioners of Nasir El-Rufai. It's not Nasir that will be checked. Because if you really want to respect the office and the sanctity of the office of the governor, you invite all his lieutenants.
Will he be able to sustain the war? That's what I'm saying. Can he sustain the fight? You see, as an executive governor, there's nothing he won't do to either embarrass Mara Nasir El-Rufai or stood his ground, ensure that financial probity is brought to the state. Do you think embarrassing Mara El-Rufai is the right thing? Whatever has been done has been an embarrassment. For him to even begin to initiate what we're now seeing today, as far as people are concerned, he has embarrassed Mara Nasir El-Rufai. But that embarrassment on behalf of this, if he's doing that on behalf of the state, people are clapping for him to be able to sustain whatever he's doing now, just so that at the end of the day, justice could be done, so that if there is anything that could come over to, can also come back to the state. Then, if you talk of the legislators, how well are they prepared to probe those activities the governor has alleged. That is where the issue is. For me, in the last 8 years, this same legislature.
They are calling on the Kaduna State House of Assembly to do a thorough job so that the people of the state and indeed Nigerians will know the truth and help the state move forward. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now, according to reports, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission plans to join forces with the United Kingdom prosecutors as an interested party in the trial of former Petroleum Minister Diezani Alison Madueke in a UK court. Reports say a team from the Anti-Graft Commission is expected in London to initiate the process by filing relevant documents. According to a source privy to the information, the EFCC intends to share its findings and the Abuja High Court's forfeiture order concerning Diezani's $2.5 million properties and vehicles with the UK court. The source says the aim is for Nigeria to benefit from Diezani's trial in the UK, especially the recovery of all assets linked to funds looted in Nigeria, noting that the EFCC has sufficient evidence against the former minister. The family of Namitra Bwala, a student of Lead British International School Gwarimpa in Abuja, has taken legal action against the school following a viral video depicting Bwala being bullied by fellow students. Instituting a civil suit, the family seeks 500 million naira in damages and a public apology in 2 national dailies as compensation for the failure of the school to provide a safe learning environment for their daughter. Further, the High Court of the Federal Capital, Abuja, the lawsuit alleges negligence on the part of the school for failing to prevent the assault, notify the parents immediately, and conduct a thorough investigation until the video gained traction on social media. The family hopes that this legal action will prompt significant changes and adequate measures to prevent similar incidents from occurring in the future, especially at the school. To Kano State now, where the state government has refuted claims suggesting that the state has been marked as one of the amber states in northern Nigeria. During the opening ceremony of the 2024 Law Week in Kano State, the Deputy Governor Aminu Abdulsalam emphasized that the Kano State is not only the most peaceful state in the north, but also across the entire federation. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibril highlights this year's Law Week, which aims to improve the administration and delivery of justice across the nation.
These are lawyers, including senior advocates of Nigeria, judges and several other stakeholders drawn from the Nigeria's justice system. They are here to deliberate on various issues on how to improve the administration of justice across the country, with Kano being the center of this exercise.
Administration of justice in Nigeria, challenges and reforms. You heard us talk about how deliberate the Nigerian Bar Association is in citing this conference in Kano.
It's a global village. You don't need to leave Kano to service clients in any part of the world, but you need to have the skills. And this is what the section of legal practice will give you.
Declaring open the Law Week, the Kano State Deputy Governor Aminu Abdulsalam denied reports that the state is marked from red to amber, arguing that Kano at the moment has no any real security threats and people from different parts of the world are coming to Kano to do business.
We are all living witnesses to what is going on in Kano State as far as security is concerned. As already said by first speakers, Kano is among the safest places in this country, if not the safest in the entire West African sub-region. So people should feel very free to come and do their businesses in all aspects of life. We don't have any real security threat here.
For the Kano State Police Command, collaboration with members of the bar in promoting community policing is key to ensuring smooth administration of justice, not only in Kano, but across the country, stressing that the open policy of the police has brought about several transformative changes within the police force in Kano.
I call upon all stakeholders to continue working hand in hand toward addressing the challenges that lie ahead and together build a safer and more just society for the generation to come.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Bar Association, in continuation of its program to enhance justice delivery, says Kano will be hosting the Bar's annual Legal Practice Conference on the administration of justice in Nigeria. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Now, reactions are trailing the Nigerian Senate's approval of the death penalty for drug traffickers in the country. The 2024 NDLEA Act, as amended, passed through the third reading in the Senate on Thursday, while Makurdi residents are expressing divergent views on the amendment and its projected impact on the polity. Jimmy Azande reports.
Even among the senators, the bill received different interpretations.
Dealing with exportation of dangerous substances is deleted as the provision of the Principal Act, Section 22, is contrary to the rule of double jeopardy, which generally prevent a person from being tried or punished twice on the same offense. As such, it is totally expunged from the Act.
That the committee is recommending a softer punishment. It was a life imprisonment. In fact, we should change it to death sentence. This is practiced everywhere in this country that are serious about dealing with drugs. So when we come to take it close by close, please, distinguished colleagues, let's change that section 11 to read death sentence.
Death sentence is not a matter for a, nay, or nay. Everybody should vote so that we will be counted. When it matters, those who vote for death and those who vote for punishment. No, you cannot. We take a vote. It's a fundamental issue. We are making law here. This is not a motion. I have responsibility for any law that I made while I'm in this parliament.
Some residents of Makurdi are saying the law is long overdue because of the many negative impacts of drugs on Nigerians.
If you see the level of ravage that drugs have done to this economy, drug has done to Nigerian humanity, you agree with me that that decision is belated. That decision has long been taken by countries like Colombia, Brazil, Bolivia, and all that because they know the extent of damage people drugs have inflicted on that country. If you go to secondary schools, you go to universities, you go to even villages, you will notice that these drugs have eaten deep into the physical and human anatomy of Nigerians. So this decision is even belated. To me, I buy the whole hawk. If the government is taking that decision at this point, you know that government has tried so many measures and the measures have failed. That's why they have decided that that rule has to be, that those laws have to be made a bit draconian. Draconian in quotes have to be a bit stringent because they have tried so many other ways and the ways have not worked.
Another group feels the law is draconian and should be reassessed by the president before his accent.
Democratic society like Nigeria, I think that is too harsh for an offense relating to drugs. And moreover, the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, which is the principal legislation guiding the administration of criminal justice in Nigeria, has outlined the sentencing philosophy, and one of the one at the front small corner is the reformative sentencing philosophy. The democratic societies in the world are fastly moving away from the reductionist theory, which recognizes death penalty. So I think there is every need on the part of the legislature and other relevant stakeholders in that sector to revisit that particular clause of the law that recognizes death penalty for drug dealers.
The bill was read for the third time and passed by the Nigerian Senate after a heated debate on Thursday, 9th May 2024. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Governor Umar Ramadi of Jigawa State has pledged his support for the construction of the Jamaatul Izalatul Bid'ah wa Iqamatus Sunnah University in Hadejia. The governor's commitment came in response to Jibwi's appeal for assistance in developing road infrastructure around the university premises. The delegation from Jibwis, led by its National Secretary Sheikh Kabiru Haruna Gombe, emphasized that the establishment of the university was a strategic move to enhance access to tertiary education in Jigawa State. He also commended Governor Namadi's dedication to the welfare of his constituents while expressing confidence in the state's progress under his leadership.
The university attained a certain level where we are expecting the NUC to come in order to supervise the university so that they can give us license for the university to take off. And there is part of the requirements of NUC, there must be access road in the university. And as we all know, constructing access road is not an easy. It is something that individual cannot do it. That is why we appeal to the governor in order to rescue the situation.
Now, 8 trafficked victims comprising 6 girls and 2 boys have been rescued by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. It was gathered that the victims, who are indigents of Akwa Ibom State, were intercepted while being ferried en route Libya by the Sokoto State operatives of the agency in collaboration with Uyo Zonal Command operatives. Now, speaking on Monday in Uyo, the Zonal NAPTIP commander, Emmanuel Ahweng, said 4 suspects involved in the crime lured the victims into the trip, adding that they have been apprehended and are currently facing prosecution. Ahweng stated that already the agency, in collaboration with UNICEF, has empowered 6 of the victims with 4 sewing machines and 2 hair dryers. He also says Akwa Ibom State is only a transit route and not a destination, as victims are often brought in from Cameroon, Guinea-Bissau through the riverine areas and transported outside the country. All right, you're watching the news hour on Trust TV. We'll be back with more news after the break.
And welcome to Creative Lounge on Trust TV. My name is Ahmed Mohammed Bello, and I'm going to be...
Welcome back to the news. Time now to join Yusuf Akugu for an update in business.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akugu. The federal government says it is working on a system that will provide tax relief to 95% of the informal sector of the economy in the country. Chairman of the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, Taiwo Oyedele, stated this at the closing session of the committee meeting on Sunday in Abuja. He said this will be achieved through the exemption of businesses earning 25 million naira a year or less from the various taxes hindering their progress over time. Oyedele said the new reform being proposed will focus on top 5% of that sector, the middle class and the elite, for taxes. He said the committee is drafting laws to effect the necessary changes in the fiscal policy and tax reforms ecosystem of the country. The Nigeria's revenue from the manufacturing export sector has plunged by 166% to 778.4 billion naira from the 2 trillion naira height reached in 2019. A newly published report by the World Bank said the trend since 2019 has been downwards, recording a significant decline to 960.7 billion naira, while a minor recovery was recorded in 2021 at 1.15 trillion naira. The World Bank specifically blamed the country's dwindling foreign trade on poor infrastructure and insufficient logistics, among other factors. The International Monetary Fund has advised the federal government of Nigeria to end all forms of fuel and electricity subsidy as they benefit the rich rather than the poor. The fund noted that subsidies are costly and poorly targeted, with high-income groups benefiting more than the vulnerable. It also stated that with pump prices and tariff below cost recovery, subsidy costs will increase to 3% of gross domestic product (GDP) in 2024 compared to the 1% of GDP in 2023. The Washington-based fund also said about 15 million households or 60 million Nigerians will potentially benefit from an enhanced social intervention scheme that the federal government developed with the World Bank. equity segment of the NGX opened a week's trading in the negative territory following profit taken by local investors. Let's see how it went down today. The losing equities today are leading that table is Seplat Nigeria PLC down 10% to close at 2,962 naira and 30 kobo per share. CI Leasing also down 9.71% to close at 3 naira and 16 kobo per share. N-Transat down 9.68% to close at 5 naira and 60 kobo per share. Of course, this has dragged down the market by 0.55%. Of course, the all share index is still coming down gradually from the 100 basis point it hit a couple of weeks ago, a month ago. Volume of trade 434.883 million shares, value at 11.316 billion naira in a deals of 8,480 did exchanges among investors this Monday. Of course, the top trading equities by volume leading that table is Notori Chemical Manufacturing Companies doing 74.425 million shares, followed by Access Corporation 42.904 million shares, and of course Universal Insurance 38.332 million shares is traded on the day. Of course, some equities also recorded gains at the close of business this Monday. Leading that table is Tantalizer PLC. It recorded about 8.7% gain to close at 50 kobo per share. Of course, Universal Insurance also recorded 5.71% gain to close at 37 kobo per share. Of course, Sterling Bank of Nigeria PLC 5.38% in gain to close at 4 naira and 70 kobo per share. That's the highlight of the stock trading as it went down this Monday on the floor of NGX. Let's see the global stock market and of course exchange rate data for today. Oil prices increased on Monday amid moderate investor profit-taking, supply uncertainty from tension in the Middle East, and the possibility of the OPEC Plus group extending supply cuts. At the London market, European Brent sells for $83 per barrel. For the OPEC basket, dealers offer $84 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akubu.
Thanks for the update, Yusuf Akugu. Let's turn our attention now to developments on the international scene. And we start with Chad. Success Masra, who came second in Chad's presidential election, announced on Sunday that he has lodged a request with the Constitutional Council to have the vote annulled. Masra was acting after dozens of activists from his party were arrested and accused of having forged documents to get illegal access to vote counts. Sitak Yombatina, the vice president of Nasra's Transformers Party, says the request is for the annulment of what the party calls, quote, an electoral farce, adding that all the evidence to back up their request have been attached. They included video footage of voting boxes being stuffed, threats, as well as ballot boxes that were taken away by soldiers to be counted elsewhere. Election officials on Thursday declared junta leader General Muhammad Idris Deby the winner of the election with 61.03% of the vote against Masra's 18.53%. Masra had already claimed victory and warned that Deby's team would try to rig the result. The definitive election results are expected by May 23rd at the latest. Time now for some sports. Here's Emmanuel Fashemi with the latest.
The Nigeria Football Federation under President Ibrahim Gusau on Monday unveiled Finidi George as the Super Eagles head coach in a ceremony held at the Media Center of Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. The former Real Betis frontman was contracted permanently after Portuguese gaffer Jose Pizarro left. Finidi assisted the Portuguese at the last Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast, where Super Eagles finished second. His appointment was confirmed a few weeks ago after he took charge of the team on an interim basis for the double-header international friendly against Ghana and Mali. Finidi George's first competitive game will be the 2026 World Cup qualifier against the Bafana Bafana of South Africa and Benin Republic. Meanwhile, Nigeria Super Eagles will kick off their preparation for the match day 3 and 4 of the 2026 World Cup qualifier on 1st June 2024. After managing 2 draws in the last 2 games against Lesotho and Zimbabwe, Super Eagles will face Bafana Bafana of South Africa and Cheetahs of Benin in the rounds of games. The team will open camp on the 1st of June in Uyo. The game against South Africa is slated for Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, while the Benin game will come up in Ivory Coast. Nigerian basketball champions Rivers Hoopers will land in Kigali next week for the next phase of the Basketball Africa League after an outstanding performance in the first round. The Kingsmen won 4 games and lost 2 in 6 games to book their place in the rounds. Hoopers proved doubters wrong by coming out top of a tough Sahara conference that housed AS Douanes of Senegal, APR of Rwanda, and 2023 winners US Monastir of Tunisia. According to the news coming from the team's camp, they will touch down in Kigali next week for the playoffs. Rivers Hoopers is the first Nigerian basketball club to reach the playoffs, slated for the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda, which will dunk off on the 24th of May 2024. US Monastir joined Hoopers as the other team that qualified from the Sahara Conference in Dakar, Senegal. And that is sports. I am Emmanuel Fashemi.
And that is our offering for you on the News Hour tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. As always, we urge you to follow us across our social media platforms to stay in touch. Also visit our website trusttv.com for the latest news and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. From myself and the rest of the team, thank you for your time and good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.